Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video. This is another paid request, this time for Phil. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topic, or reaction, or review, re-review, or commentary, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for, well, Jack's back. Now I say that because it's a film that still under the radar, it seems, even though it's down on Blu-ray, thankfully, from Screen Factory. Sadly, not a lot on the Blu-ray. I mean, there's a few interviews. Sadly, nothing from James Spader. He doesn't really seem to do interviews, but it's a film that it came out in 1988 and did get some good notices. Siskel and Ebert gave it some very positive notices. Gave it 2 thumbs up. It's directed by Rowdy Herrington, his first film. The film he would do after this is Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. Then he would do Striking Distance with Bruce Willis. And James Spader, he had done other films, Tough Turf and other bits, but he did a really wonderful job, and he's easily the best part of this movie. He's the reason why I do quite enjoy the film. Now, the marketing in this sucked. Let's be honest. The poster and the title. I like the title Jack's Back, but it's not as prevalent. It is, but it isn't prevalent to the story. Like, it is, but it isn't. The poster, you just have James Spader, which at the time people didn't know who he was. So it's okay, here's this guy. What does he have to do with that? He's looking kind of, around the corner. Doesn't really tell you much about the story. The trailer sucked. The music they use in the trailer sucked. I think originally the title was going to be Red Rain, because the director wanted to use the Peter Gabriel song. Red rain is falling down. Red rain. Which I thank this movie for having me find that song. Because I love that song. I heard that song, I fell in love with it, and I wish they were able to use that. Now, they do kind of put a similar song that they created called Red Harvest, which I don't mind the song in the movie, but Red Rain is much better. But I don't mind it. Red Harvest comes. It literally was, we can't have red rain, but can you kind of rip it off? But the Red Rain is definitely a better... it would have been great to have that. Anyway, Peter Gabriel said no. So because of the marketing and things of that nature, it didn't do well, and people didn't think much of it. And then they found it on VHS tape or cable, and then a little bit of a cult following followed. Now, I know the film has been labeled dull and boring by some people. And I can see where they're coming from in the fact of it's not a lot of action. It's not a big body count gore movie at all. It's not. It's not a lot of thrilling action and car chases. But what I liked about it has a little bit of a film noir atmosphere, maybe a tad hint of giallo atmosphere. James Spader stole the show in a dual role as twin brothers. He easily makes the film watchable to me. I like Cynthia Gibb, who would be in films like Short Circuit 2, Death Warrant with Jean-Claude Van Damme. You also have Robert Picardo, a good actor. He plays a psychiatrist. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Joe Dante films like Inner Space. He was in Gremlins 2. He's the guy that the female gremlin is always wanting to get to and goes up and kisses him at the very end of the film. If you've seen Gremlins 2, the new batch, the poor schmo is Robert Picardo. He was also in The Howling, many other films. You also have, and I recognize this guy, if I can remember, Jim Haney. He's one of these 2 cops, Jim Haney and Chris Mulkey. Chris Mulkey I recognize as one of the guys in Runaway. He's the guy that Tom Selleck is chasing and the guy stared at Gene Simmons. Who wouldn't be scared of Gene Simmons, especially in that time? And Gene Simmons has that gun that goes across the bulls, goes around corners, and goes after Chris Maltby's character. He was also in Ghost in the Machine with Karen Allen. He's partnered up with Jim Haney, and I'm like, I recognize this guy. He's the boss, Dolph Lundgren's boss, in I Come in Peace. I Come in Peace is a personal favorite of mine. And then this doctor, who's the boss of the first twin we see of James Spader, his boss, this doctor runs his clinic. I also recognize him. He's Sigmund Freud in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I'm like, I knew he seemed familiar, but yeah, he's Sigmund Freud. And now the way the film is marketed, it makes you think it's one movie. So I think if you go in and think it's that movie, understandably you'd be upset and pissed off. Because the way like I said, the trailer, the way the narration and the music they use and the way it's edited, just misleading. It would make you think it's a slasher film, horror slasher film. It would make you think that, oh, it's about the reincarnation of Jack the Ripper. It's 100 years and he's still out there. So either he's an undead, unkillable being, or that's immortal, or he's been reincarnated and maybe it's James Spader. Jack's back as James Spader's a reincarnation of Jack the Ripper. That's not the case. I mean, there is the setup. There is a killer killing people, including mainly hookers, and it's 100 years to the day of the Jack the Ripper murders, and that is happening. But it's much more of this murder mystery where you have this smart, nice doctor played by James Spader, who is working at this clinic. Cynthia Gibb is a co-worker. I forget the actor's name, so I'll just call him Sigmund Freud from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Sigmund Freud is the boss, being a dickhead. And again, I like the look that the film Rowdy Herrington has and some of the directorial choices. Even the beginning of the film, where this woman's being stalked, and as she screams, a camera flashes. And yeah, that sound, red harvest comes, red harvest comes. And then this reveal of the flash as the credits go to the murders via these Polaroids that the police have. I thought that was an interesting transition. I'm like, okay, interesting way to open the movie. And I'm a huge James Spader fan. I think he's a very talented actor. I do wish he was in some, like, he got to be a supporting bit in Wolf. He got to be a star in Supernova. Like, of the big sci-fi type of movies, why did it have to be Supernova? Like, he's one of the few things I can watch in that movie. With him and Angela Bassett, Robert Forster, Lou Diamond Phillips. It's a pretty good cast. It's just Angela, what was her last name? Bassett, Angela Bassett. But, God, just shit strip just went topsy-turvy. That's a whole other story. But I've always been a fan of James Spader. Always thought he was such a great, intense actor that would love to have seen him get the career that Leonardo DiCaprio got, or even Brad Pitt got. Would have been great to see James Spader get that kind of career, but it is what it is. And I like that you're able to have this character he's playing showcase in a matter of minutes of what kind of guy he is. Like, he's in a clinic, he sees his old woman who's hurt, no one else is helping, so he goes, talks her down, gets her bloody gauze off, gets a new one, toss to him. Okay, you have any sons, any daughters? Okay, who's the bad kid? Oh yeah? Yeah, I know. My brother's kind of the same way. The way he talks her to calm her down is just in a matter of minutes, it's like, okay, you know what kind of guy he is. And I agree, nice guy on your Pizzo. He did a review of this long ago, and he kind of said the same thing. It's remarkable how, there's so many films that you don't get an iota of a character within 90 fucking minutes. I mean, I could throw a dart. Like, okay, I'm only doing this to make to a good-natured way. Because I know, like, the guys at Dead Pit don't like this film at all. They find it boring as shit. I disagree. But let me put it this way. I know they love Madman. I can watch Madman. I mean, I don't mind it for what it is. But there are no characters worth a shit in Madman. I mean, I hate to say it. It has some fun gore and cinematography. I like the music, the song. Like, those are aspects I don't mind. But I think the ending in that film sucks, and I think the characters in that film suck. Like, who gives a shit about any of the characters in that movie? But nobody in that movie, an iota of shit of the characters, except the dickhead who deserves to die, and he doesn't. But here, like, James Spader, in a matter of minutes, you understand his character. I find him likable. I'm just having fun. I love the guys at Dead Pit, who have their website, their other YouTube. Great guys. But I think Jack's back. This is between you and me. Don't tell him I said this. I think Jack's back is better than Madman Mars. Shh, that's between me and you. I don't hate Madman, but I think this film's better. Shh. But even like the way he's interacted with her, hey, you free Saturday night? There's a nice charm to him. You see his kindness. Same with what he's doing with his asshole boss who's ready to fire him. And James Spader's reacting normally, like, no, listen, okay, fine, I won't be late again, okay? You don't have any people here as is. Can I go back to my job? Oh, by the way, there's people stealing your hubcaps. And the boss goes up, what the fuck? But I will admit, again, is this a 5 out of 5 star movie? No, because there are slow spots in the movie that some action or maybe some body count, maybe some other aspects could have made a bit of energetic shots to the vein in the proceedings. I can understand that. But like I said, I like the way it's shot. I like the look of the film. I like the story, the way it played out. I remember the first time I saw this, I don't remember if I knew much about it, and then when it got like 30 minutes in, I went, what the fuck? Oh, okay. So, spoilers. Because he does play twin brothers, a smart, nice doctor, and then a little bit of rebellious guy, a little bit more in tune to use his fists, a bit more of an attitude. But spoilers starting now. The doctor, James Spader, finds out that he recognizes this lady that was at the clinic. She's a pregnant prostitute, but it's also an old sweetheart he had. He goes to see how she's doing. A co-worker's there, goes in, finds her dead body. Nice effect. Not only slit throat, but her belly's a bit open as well. So I thought it was a pretty nice effect. So, of course, James Spader thinks this guy did it, chases him back to the clinic, and he's like, I didn't do it, and he tries to call the cops, and this guy starts hanging James Spader. And hangs them, and kills him. I think when I first saw this, I didn't know what the full plot of the film was. So what the fuck? They killed Spader off already? And then another Spader wakes up and I'm like, oh, it was a dream? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's his twin. And this is like a little bit of that giallo flavor where a lot of those movies deal with some kind of psychic connection or the whole, like, the twin idea. For some reason, to me, I can't think of a lot of movies I did. It makes me think like a twin. those kind of little offbeat ideas. And this James Spader is a little bit more with attitude, has got a bit of star on him. And he does a great job in that role as well. And he goes to the cops and goes, my brother didn't kill himself. There's something else going on. I dreamt of the killings. They don't believe him. And James Spader, he's the main reason why I enjoy this film so much. I think it's just great to follow him, both characters. Even this more of the rebellious twin. He's like, some motherfucker put a rope around his neck and strung him up from the fucking ceiling. An eyewitness. Fuck your eyewitness. Like, I buy everything the guy is saying. I'm with him, hook, line, sinker. And sometimes that's a big part of it with me, is that when I'm following a story, are there exceptions? Yes, there's exceptions to every goddamn thing. But usually with the films I like, usually, not always usually, there's gotta be someone that I want to follow. I want to follow along with the story. I like their acting, or their charisma, or their presence, or their character, or all the above, or some of the above. And James Spader fit that. So I'm on this journey following the investigation as he's looking into this, looking for evidence. I thought the score kind of fit the mood of the proceedings. I think it's a good looking film. And again, it has sometimes a little bit of film noir touches here and there. I think Cynthia Gibb does a good job. They don't go the typical love story angle between the two. There's no out of the blue sex scene. Maybe there's a little bit of attraction, but there's more important proceedings. A lesser film would go into 50 minutes of time to fuck. Or he's like, yeah, you're looking for the death of your brother. There's no time for love, Dr. Jones. And I like that there's a difference where this Spader is willing to fight. So he sees the guy who he saw in his dream that killed his brother. Guy tries to kill him, but he fucking beats the shit out of him more than once. And again, this little investigation as to how to find this guy, how to put these pieces together. I like the bit when he's buying a gun, but there's no bullets. Could shoot the motherfucker if I wanted. You bought a gun with no bullets? He sells guns, he doesn't sell bullets. And that's what it is. It's a nice little low-key thriller that, yes, I can admit, some people may find a bit boring because it doesn't have a ton of bells and whistles that a lot of other films do. Could it benefit from that? Yes. Again, it's not going to make sense because it's not the same story, but what I'm talking about with bells and whistles, Body Parts, a 90s film with Jeff Fahey. You know, that's a guy who gets into a car accident and his arm gets ripped off. He gets a new arm, and this new arm belonged to this killer. It starts having a life of its own. But that's a film that the director did have some nice bells and whistles to it. This guy going around collecting his previous body parts and ripping people's arms off and bloody remains. You get a cool car chase where Jeff Fahey is in one car, the killer's in another car, the killer handcuffs him, so you have this car chase where they're both handcuffed together in different cars. The finale with shotgun fun and some bloodiness to that. That's what I mean by, like, that's a film that I would put above Jack's Back and does have the entertaining bells and whistles that perhaps if this film had a bit more of those moments, would have helped make it maybe even better known as a cult film. But like I said, the way the story plays out, I was intrigued enough with the mystery to see where it was going. As in, you know, they play their cards early on, then in the back of your head, you know there's something else to this, and there is. And I think all the actors did their jobs well, and James Spader knocked out of the park with his performance. And it's just a nice little 90-some minute movie thriller that, I don't know, does things a little bit more smartly. These little tidbits that come to mind that would be in a lesser, be completely negated, or that's not the word I'm thinking of, not thought of in a lesser film. Like James Spader, he knows something's not right, and he goes to see Robert Picardo, and Robert Picardo, he's like, "What do you want?" And this kind of tense situation, and you realize Robert Picardo had a gun ready to aim it, saying, "I know what you want to say," but then it's like, "What, you want to be hypnotized?" Because he's thinking he's going, "I know there's something else going on here like you do, but I thought you were the killer, so I have this fucking gun in my in my drawer ready to shoot you, but okay, there's something else going on." Or the cops not believing in this, but not going too over the top and being ridiculous with the cops. The, what was the other thing? The, God, I just had it. The, oh, damn it. Damn, there's another thing I was thinking of. It was right there and I just forgot it. Like I said, not going to the typical love story, things of that nature. And by the end, he's able to find who the killer is, and there's no sequel bait ending, there's no downbeat ending, there's no stupid bullshit like that. As long as you go in knowing it's more of a low-key thriller, if you're expecting car chases and action and a lot of big body count, understandably you don't be disappointed in that. But like I said, I like the mystery aspect, I like the story that it was telling. I like that it took a little bit of time for me to get to like the characters. And I think like it's shot well enough, it's scored well enough, it's acted well enough. That's a nice little gem, little underrated movie that, yes, there are movies that are better than it, but I think it's a fairly solid film. It's a good first movie for Rowdy Herrington. It's a good showcase for James Spader's talents. And overall, film I've always liked ever since I first saw it. Liked it, watch it again. Glad I did get a Blu-ray from Stream Factory. Because that was one of those, oh man, this should get it. And it did. I'm glad it did. So, yeah, I always liked this movie. And I still like the title Jack's Back. It flows off the tongue well. Again, it'll be misleading people because Jack technically isn't back. It's not that type of movie, but again, I will say it has a nice ring to it. So it's kind of this catch-22. But with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.